How's it going, everybody? It's Sean here, and I'm here today to give you guys a review of the Kith collaboration with Adidas Originals on this Rod Laver in this white and royal blue colorway. So this shoe is part of the recent Adidas Originals and Kith Classics collection, which dropped back on August 21st. Releasing alongside two other Adidas silhouettes, this pair of the Rod Laver really caught my eye, and it was easily my favorite of the bunch. So these retailed for a price of $105 US or $150 here in Canada. And the official colorway for this shoe is crystal white and royal. So Rod Laver, for those who haven't heard of him before, is one of the greatest tennis players of all time. He has a ton of accolades under his name, including 11 single Grand Slam titles, and of course his own signature sneaker from Adidas, which dropped back in the 1970s. And while he faced off head-to-head against Stan Smith, for some reason the Stan Smith as a sneaker just did a lot better than the Rod Laver, so that's why this shoe is much more of a cult classic, and safe to say it's very much a slept-on silhouette. So jumping into the details of this shoe, on the toe box you can see the majority of the upper, this is covered in this white colored mesh. Surrounding the front toe cap, we have a gray colored pigskin suede, which feels very soft and buttery to the touch. Covering the eyelets of the sneaker, we have this strip of white colored leather, which according to Kith's website is a genuine full grain leather. So the eyelets themselves have this metallic circular finish surrounding them, and then underneath this entire panel is covered in more of that white colored mesh. So this mesh wraps around the back of the shoe, and we have an internal heel counter which gives the heel some rigidity and stiffness. And then stitched onto the top of the heel, we have an overlay of full grain blue colored leather, and we have Kith Classics and the Adidas Trefoil logo branded on the right foot, and the Kith box logo and Rod Laver branding found on the left foot. As far as the laces go, so these come with two different lace options. The standard lace that they come with is an off-white cotton flat lace, but they also give you a secondary pair of more of a cream colored lace if you want to give the shoe a little bit more pop. Underneath this, the tongue is entirely constructed out of that same mesh that we saw on the toe box. However, we have a leather patch on the top, and here we have Adidas and Rod Laver branding pressed on in blue. The interior of the heel of the shoe, this is covered in this white colored leather lining, which gives the shoe an elevated and premium feel and finish. And then as far as the insoles go, for some reason, two different insoles which pretty much look identical. So the standard insoles that they come with is a leather lined insole, and here we have Adidas, Rod Laver, and Kith branding pressed onto the heel in gold. But if you're not feeling these leather insoles for some reason, they also come with a secondary textile insole, which otherwise looks identical. So the upper of the Rod Laver sits atop this vintage looking midsole, which is crafted using a mix of rubber and foam. So you can see we have Adidas branding on the Trefoil logo found on the lateral side, and encased within this midsole we do have an EVA foam wedge, which is where the majority of the comfort of the shoe comes from. And then finally, turning this pair over to the bottom, so this outsole is done in that same vintage looking tone, and we have this wavy style traction pattern that runs from heel to toe. On the forefoot we have the circular pivot point, and in the middle we have this cutout revealing both Adidas branding and the size of the shoe. So that breaks down the look and the construction of these Rod Lavers. And for those wondering about sizing, so my foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side. I had no idea how the Rod Laver would fit, so I got true to size, hoping that they would be okay. So I feel like generally speaking they do fit true to size, but there's just over an index finger's width space between the top of the shoe and the top of my toe. So I feel like if you like a really snug one-to-one fit and you don't have a really wide foot, you might be able to get by with going a half size down, but if you have more of a wider foot or if you just like more of a spacious toe box, then true to size should be fine for you as well. I feel like in comparison to a Stan Smith, this is definitely more wide foot friendly. It doesn't feel nearly as snug around the toe box, so hopefully that helps you as some sort of reference. Moving on to the comfort, so for a shoe from the 1970s, honestly these weren't too bad. For an everyday casual use shoe, they're going to be perfectly fine, but if you're comparing these obviously to modern day sneakers, obviously it's not going to be as comfortable. It still generally has more of a firm feel underfoot, and the cushioning isn't that soft, but you can definitely feel it underfoot. So I'd say that from a comfort standpoint, these are more comfortable than a Stan Smith. You feel more elevated off the ground and there's more of a cushiony feel underfoot, and with this mesh upper, there's really no break-in time required, so that's an added plus as well. Finally, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship on this shoe, so aside from the mesh panels, which I wasn't crazy about, the rest of the materials used on the shoe were top notch. Both this pigskin suede as well as the full grain leather, it feels very nice, very genuine, and it feels very high quality. And from a build and craftsmanship standpoint, it wasn't perfect. I had some small blemishes and stains on the mesh, but other than that, I thought the panels were cut and stitched on consistently. The stitch job was pretty solid, so it wasn't perfect, but it wasn't bad whatsoever. So with all that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up for you, and I'll show you guys how these look. If you're in the market for a Kith sneaker or just a sneaker that's different that you're not going to see on most people's feet, I think this is a great option. First of all, the retail price is extremely low, and the thing I love most about this shoe is that it's very minimalistic. Honestly, if you didn't see the heel of the shoe, you'd be hard pressed to even know that it's an Adidas sneaker. And while I respect the Adidas 3 stripes, I think a shoe like this, which is pretty much free of obvious branding, is a lot easier to pull off with different outfits and looks. And even though most of you guys watching probably have a ton of shoes already in your collection, sometimes you just need more of that elevated, grown-up looking sneaker that's more or less free of obvious branding, and I think this is a really solid option. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this Kith Adidas Rod Laver in this white and royal colorway? Is this a shoe that you think you could pull off? Do you think it's boring, not really your cup of tea? Let me know in the comment section down below what you think. If you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, follow me on X, formerly known as Twitter, at sean.go spelt out, and follow my website as well at seango.ca. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one.